Today on the Travel Magazine, we journey down the tracks of South Africa's famous Rovos Rail and explore one of the world's most picturesque regions, the Western Cape's Garden Route. Join us as we visit the most beautiful sights along this spectacular route on board one of the oldest and most elegant steam trains in the world. The Western Cape coastal region is one of the most picturesque in South Africa and is known as the Garden Route. It is surrounded by mountains, lagoons, lakes and rivers and white sandy beaches. Hi, I'm Jake de Boer.
And I'm Mieke de Boer, and welcome to South Africa's famous Garden Route.
Venture with us on a tour of the famous KWV brandy cellar. Sample some of the finest vintages and visit the lush vineyards of the Cape region. Join us as we travel from Plettenberg Bay with its beautiful beaches to the picturesque town of Naisna, well known for its lagoon, oysters and furniture making. From Naisna we will travel by steam train to George, where we will board Rovos Rail. Our final stop is Cape Town, with its majestic Table Mountain, and this is the place where the first settlers came in the year 1652. We begin our journey along the Garden Route at Plettenberg Bay, which winds through one of the most prolific floral kingdoms in the world.
I think what's special about Plettenberg Bay is it's a combination of so many different things in one very small area. In other words, we have magnificent beaches here, a lagoon, two rivers, and wonderful estuaries and wetlands, as well as forest, all in one. So really it gives people an opportunity to do all of these things in a one stopover, if you like. The Garden Route is really two things. In the summertime, which for us is starting sort of October going through to mid-April after Easter time, weather-wise is magnificent. And obviously most of the visitors come here, but what people don't realize, in fact, is what it's like from May through to August. And also you have your whales and your dolphin watching. The whales come in, of course, beginning of May and leave us sort of in September time. So if one is wanting to come in our so-called summertime, there's very much a beach experience, very much forest walks and trails and swimming and boating and that kind of thing. Whereas from May to the August period, although you do get lovely sunny days and you can still swim throughout the year, the sea temperatures don't change much. It's more of an ecotourism experience, watching whales, watching dolphins, getting into the forest, bird watching. You know, there are more than 250 species up in the Garden Route of birds.
Hunter's Country House is an exclusive retreat set in the heart of the magnificent Garden Route.
Hunter's Country House has grown over the last 9 years to what it is now. It wasn't a hotel that was established at this particular size of 24 suites now, nor with the facilities we have now. We simply do here what we'd like to do at home and what we would like to be treated rather when we go out and away. The furnishings and fittings in the hotel are identical virtually to those that we have at home. We have a wonderful staff, which has a lot of the people in the staff been with us for a number of years, and that culture is part of them now too and is carried forward. We have an enormous number of guest houses in the area. Bed and breakfasts are also numerous, particularly in the Naisna area. There are a lot of bed and breakfasts. So self-catering too is very, very big in this area as well. Beautiful natural self-catering establishments, a lot around Naisna and certainly in the Plet area too.
We travel 5 kilometers upstream on the Keurboom River.
We're in the Keurboom River Nature Reserve. And it's run by the Cape Nature Conservation people, and they keep tabs on how many people are here. They have all sorts of rules and regulations that people have to abide by in order to preserve the area. All or most of what you see over here, the bush and those trees and everything, are all indigenous trees. And in summertime, the beaches along here are chock-a-block full of tourists who come and enjoy the skiing and picnicking and barbecuing and what have you on the beaches up here. Not many places where you can see this kind of beauty of the natural forest, this color water. It's got a romance of its own, I think.
In this reserve, you can enjoy a variety of exotic wildlife as well as the spectacular indigenous trees. This is an incredible tree, Bill. What is it?
It's a yellowwood tree. We estimate it to be about 400 years old. And you don't see trees this size every day. The main industry in this whole area is probably tourism. And I think second to tourism is the timber industry. If you look around you and you dig quite deep over here, you'll see the humus goes quite deep, giving nutrition to these giant trees, right? And this is pure, lovely humus. In Afrikaans, we call this bosgrond, forest ground, and it's extremely nutritious.
Yeah. Why is this called yellowwood tree and why is the other tree called stinkwood tree?
Because the wood is yellow. If you have a look over here, this is a piece that's rotting, but you can see it's yellow.
Yeah.
Now, if you go to a lot of furniture shops in the area that specialize in indigenous wood furniture, you'll see yellowwood is probably the main one. It's got a beautiful sheen to it, lovely patina to it, and it's extremely popular.
But this tree is so huge, if we joined hands, the three of us, or even 4 people, I don't think we could surround the tree.
No. Shall we try?
Let's try. Let's have a look here and see. You see, we probably come 3/4 of the way.
No.
Can you see Mieke?
You probably, no, I can't see her.
That is amazing.
Maybe 6 or 7 people would go around.
When we return, we'll journey along the waters of the Indian Ocean to Naisna, an oyster paradise. And on the Rovo's Rail, we'll explore the beauty of South Africa's garden route and wine region.
We will be back with more of the travel magazine just after this, so stay with us.
Our journey through South Africa's spectacular garden route leads us to the enchanting town of Naisna, situated at the foot of the Utanika mountain range. The area where we are at the moment, it's, you know, you can't really describe how beautiful it is, how tranquil it is. What is it called?
It's called the Naisna Heads. Because there are 2 sandstone cliffs, and they look like 2 huge, huge heads that guard the entrance to Naisna. And I think what you can't even see on video, perhaps, or hear, I should rather say, is the wonderful sound of the waves coming in here, meeting the estuary. It's gorgeous.
Why are there oysters in Naisna? It's famous for that, aren't
It's famous for its oysters, absolutely. They also have an oyster festival.
So when is the Oyster Festival?
It's from the 2nd to the 11th of July next year.
Yeah.
And we have many oyster activities like an oyster eating competition and an oyster cooking competition and an oyster ball and anything to do with oysters.
What are the most oysters some individual has eaten?
You know, it's not a question of only eating. They've got to open it and eat it.
In a certain period of time?
Yeah, in a certain period of time. And last year I think it was 22 per minute.
22 per minute?
I think so, yeah.
I'd like to try to open one just now.
Okay.
But let's have one first.
First one. So
Okay, have you put some pepper on it?
Oh, I was eating already.
Oh, that's enough. That's strong.
Yeah, but hold on. Shall I put some on yours?
No,
I'll do it for you.
No, I'll do my own. Beautiful.
That is like the bone in the herring, I think.
Now look at this.
Okay, down the hatch, Meek. Come on.
It's gone. It's gone.
And was it good, Mika?
It was wonderful. I'm
This
trying
is
another one.
Very nice, I must say.
Get it like this. Get everything out of it.
Naisna is located on South Africa's only national lake, the Naisna Lagoon. Artists, craftsmen, and a variety of creative personalities have found inspiration here. The town has an old-world charm with shops in nooks and crannies. Here you can find anything, from African art to carvings created from the famous South African yellow tree.
What is the kilo? Is it kilo? Okay.
The motto on the coat of arms for Naisna sums up this spectacular region. Beautiful land, a gift of God. Morning.
Good morning.
Hello, ma'am. Welcome to Rovers Rail.
Thank
Welcome,
you very
sir.
much.
Thank you.
Could I offer you a glass of champagne?
Wonderful.
Good day, ma'am. Good day.
Thank you very much, sir. Wonderful. Thank you. Welcome aboard the extravagant elegance of rail travel on one of the most luxurious trains in the world. We'll travel from George to Cape Town on the Rovos Rail. This unique rail safari combines some of the most spectacular scenery with the glamour and excitement of the golden age of steam. There are several beautifully restored Pride of Africa trains of up to 20 coaches, half of which date back to the 20s and 30s. There is no better way to see the garden route.
Bruce, you're the manager of Rovers Rail. You know, in South Africa there are two very famous trains.
Yes.
For people to travel by train through South Africa. It's the Blue Train and then Rovers Rail, the Pride of Africa.
Okay.
Why is this so unique experience to travel on Rovers Rail?
Well, we feel that the Rovers Rail is very different from the Blue Train. We're not in such of a hurry as the Blue Train. The Blue Train is a high-speed train. It travels at 90 kilometers per hour. We like to do a good, steady 50 kilometers per hour. Sometimes we even do 30 kilometers per hour. It depends on what terrain we're passing through.
The train winds its way through some of the most picturesque scenery in the country, crossing vineyards and mountains. And on board, the elegant accommodation, service and food are all first class.
We have two dining cars on each train. This particular one is built in 1914, so that's lovely and old, with a seating capacity of 88 guests. So with the maximum amount of guests that we carry of 72, leaves ample seating for everybody.
Breakfast, lunch, and a formal dinner as served in the charming Victorian atmosphere of the dining car.
The cabins are fantastic. It is really romantic.
And the staff is excellent too.
Thank you, sir. The guests are just...
The train features a very modern kitchen and the chefs are selected from amongst the very best in southern Africa. The food is carefully prepared and is complemented by a selection of excellent Cape region wines. We steam from George down to Mossel Bay, up to Ashton, then finally we arrive in Worcester, one of the largest wine-producing districts in the country. We visit KWV's brandy cellar, which is one of the largest distilleries of its kind in the world. Brandy.
Yes.
You're famous for it.
Yes, we are.
What is it that we have here?
We have the Paul 5-star that you can see here. This is a brandy that we specially make for the Canadian market. We're looking at it to get it more abroad and wider. This brandy is 40% alcohol by volume, and it has a very typical raisin butterscotch nose to it. It is a soft brandy. Would you like to have a taste, ma'am?
Yeah, I'll try.
Right. You can see I make use of the long international tasting glasses. There's a purpose for this, to get the aroma out better.
The internationally famous cellar complex is also one of the largest in the world. Yet, the brandies are all individually distilled as if in a small cellar.
The 20-year-old is not that frequently available all over the world. The only reason for it is it takes long for us to get to our brandies.
So it's very special.
It's very special, and after 20 years, we only have a third left in our barrels.
When we return, we'll travel to Cape Town, South Africa's mother city, and we'll also visit Laborie Estate in the town of Paarl.
Wonderful. Look here. We will be back with more of South Africa just after this, so stay with us.
Rovo's rail meanders towards South Africa's west coast and the cosmopolitan city of Cape Town.
Cape Town is definitely one of the most beautiful cities in the world. And here we have a unique setting. We have our landmark, Table Mountain, 1,000 meters high, and the city nestles below the slopes of Table Mountain, Lion's Head on the one hand, Signal Hill on the other, and the slopes of Devil's Peak. Where in the world can you take a trip from the center of the city and 5 minutes later land up on the slopes of one of the most magnificent mountains in the world, amongst 22,000 species of flowering plants, which represents 10% of the world's flowering plants.
Many of the world's scenic wonders are within a day's drive of the city center. Magnificent seascapes and panoramic vistas abound. Less than 60 kilometers from Cape Town is Paarl Mountain. Nestled on its slopes is an exquisite 45-hectare wine estate, Laborie.
This is Laborie's barrel maturation cellar. The cellar was completed end of '96. We store in here 960 of these 300-litre French oak barrels. Because this wine was fermented in French oak, it has a slight yellowish, goldish color, okay, which you can see in the center of your glass, and then with a slight greenish rim. The greenish rim is because this is a younger wine. It's only a 97. On this nose I get butterscotch, hints of butterscotch and vanilla. Those are the flavors you get from your oak barrels.
Okay.
Okay, and also nice fruit, tropical fruit.
Tropical fruits.
Our wines we do export as well to various countries, for example, USA, the Benelux countries, Germany, Belgium, and also to Japan. But the wines are available locally through our local distributor Vinimark, from selected bottle stores, restaurants, etc.
Views of the Parel Valley and Parel Mountain make the tasting room at Laborie one of the most picturesque of its kind. But with scenery like this, how can you resist sampling outside?
In the morning till 5 in the afternoon, and on Saturdays from 9 o'clock in the morning till 1 in the afternoon. So visitors can come, they can come taste wine, enjoy a picnic, do the hiking trail, and then also we have the restaurant where they can have either lunch or supper.
But I have to tell you that it is so beautifully, the setting, you know, you look at mountains at this side, mountains everywhere, and surrounded by these Cape-style houses.
That's right. Laborie is one of the most beautiful estates, not because I'm working here, but I've been all over, and really this is absolutely fantastic. We have the scenic view from the tasting area, and where we sit here, all around us, the beautiful mountains. It is beautiful.
Well, I'm going to drink on this.
Cheers. Again.
Cheers.
Well, that's it for this edition of the Travel Magazine. We hope you've enjoyed the garden route and Roversrail as much as we have. I'm Jake de Boer.
And I'm Mieke de Boer, and join us again as we travel the world.